We've all fucked up in one way or another, some more than others, but the point is we've all done something we shouldn't have and possibly regret. But what if that one thing landed you in prison? What if that one thing made you part of a bigger industrial complex system not designed to rehabilitate or restore you, but simply to punish you? Today, prisoners in our America are treated like caged animals in maximum security prisons, locked up into a space no bigger than the average bathroom, separated from loved ones, friends and family, and surrounded by people who are mentally unstable, unpredictable, angry, frustrated, and sometimes violent. The inmate has to learn different ways of dealing with this new environment and the other inmates that share it, and with new ways of coping and surviving. Added to this is the trauma and stress of the trial, sentencing, and subsequent imprisonment. The new labels criminal, prisoner, and convict will be there for the rest of their lives, the prefix X being added to the end upon release. All these factors have a deep effect on the psychological, emotional, and physical layers, resulting in high levels of anxiety, stress, anger, fear, depression, frustration, and insomnia, which are all common in prisoners. Today, like any other day, there are around 2.3 million people incarcerated in America's federal, state, and local and prisons and jails. Of those, 127,579 are in California, according to CDCR's weekly population report. The rehabilitation they receive within prison walls is crucial to all members of society who want to live in a safe and secure world. As it stands, our current system has not done a really good job at rehabilitating inmates and lowering recidivism rates, which is why California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation should include yoga and mindfulness programs into all 33 of its prisons. As I stand here today, my brother sits in a prison cell, and 12 years from now, he will be one of 93% inmates who return back to society and walk amongst us. Thanks to him, I have become interested in mass incarceration, became a certified prison yoga teacher, and advocate for prison reform. Today, I'm going to discuss the issues with California's prison system, the benefits of prison yoga, and how California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, CDCR for short, can implement yoga programs into its core curriculum. California has long been the land of innovation and fresh starts, but on criminal incarceration and justice, the Golden State remains stubbornly behind the curve. Over the past quarter century, multiple lawsuits have challenged California's prisons as dangerously overcrowded. In 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court had found that overcrowding had gotten so bad, close to double the prison's design capacity, that inmates' health and safety were unconstitutionally compromised. The court ordered the state to reduce its prison population by tens of thousands of inmates to 110,000 or 137.5% of its capacity. The state claimed that releasing too many inmates would be a threat to public safety, as if the problem were too little prison space. In fact, California's problem is not excessive crime, but excessive punishment. The status quo in California has been for years the steady return of felons after 2 to 5 year terms who pose the same risk when they went in. Those returns are the chief product of our broken criminal justice system. That's the real point here. Not that some prisoners were moving to the post-incarceration portion of their sentences a few months early, but that California has done too little to fix a system under which we deem it normal that prisoners come out at least as dysfunctional as when they went in. Precisely because of crowding and foolish management of inmate population, California prisons have not only fallen below a minimal constitutional level of medical and mental health care, but also have been notoriously ineffective at purging inmates of their addictions, illnesses, gang ties, or antisocial attitudes. The criminal justice system fails to deal in any meaningful way with rehabilitation. According to Think Progress, we currently spend an average about $47,000 per year to incarcerate an inmate, with over 2/3 of those costs going to security and inmate health care. Prisons were originally designed to correct and rehabilitate inmates to become better citizens who could return to society. Yet, the Judicial Council of California reports that approximately 65% of inmates, or 6 out of 10, will return to prison within the first 3 years of release. That's a dismal failure. The one common theme that continues to appear to help develop rehabilitative plans is that regardless of education, career training, vocational training, and behavioral programming, if a person is fundamentally unable to deal with their stressful situations, be self-reflective, and connect with their own ability to change, he or she will not change. Because a great majority of our inmates have suffered abuse at some level, whether it's been homelessness, witnessing crime, or any trauma that is stored into their bodies, yoga programs can be of great benefit. This healing begins by looking within. When an inmate is released into our communities, we want them to be for healthier people in body, mind, and spirit. To return our inmates to society with tools that allow them to successfully manage the challenges they face, reintegrating into society is a gift that all of society benefits from. Life inside a prison is not conducive to self-reflection, developing kindness, compassion, or self-awareness. There is constant fears, noise, and chaos. Life in prison, especially in the higher security institutions, is more about survival than healing or learning. Yoga, offered as a mindfulness practice, is a tool for re-engaging prisoners with their body to restore the connection between body, mind, and heart. An Oxford University study linked yoga to improved mood and mental well-being among prisoners, proving this can be an effective tool to cut security and healthcare costs for inmates. Yoga is used as a tool to develop the whole person, increase sensitivity towards oneself, and empathy for others. By putting the men and women back in touch with their body, they begin to care more about themselves and understand the harm that they have caused. A study by Washington State University found that prison yoga programs help develop more empathy among male inmates. The results, published in the California Journal of Health Promotion, showed a direct correlation between a regular yoga practice and improved parenting skills. This can be of great benefit to the estimated 292,000 children in the state who have a parent in prison or jail, according to the California Research Bureau. There are several issues with California's prison system, and I'm not saying yoga is a cure-all, but the benefits of programs like mindfulness and yoga is why the CDCR should include yoga in all 33 of its prisons. In order to implement the programs in all of its facilities, they will need to employ the services of nonprofit organizations like Prison Yoga Project. Prison Yoga Project is dedicated to bringing trauma-informed yoga behind bars. They train yoga teachers to teach classes in detention centers, rehabilitative institutions, and they design and produce instructional material for teachers, students, and governmental agencies. They do this in in video, audio, and print, and they help prisons and jail starts programs by providing advice, training materials, yoga mats, and class curriculum. The service is there, but CDCR needs to allow yoga teachers access into prisons and facilitate the hurdles for clearance. Because nonprofit organizations like Prison Yoga are volunteer operated, funding is not necessary and volunteers are ready to teach in these facilities. So ultimately, the end goal is for incarcerated men and women to continue peaceful meditation after releases. The odds of them enrolling into a yoga studio is very little. They have to find jobs, a place to live, rebuild their lives, reunite with family. Prison yoga is focused on giving them the tools to meditate on their own after leaving, which is why CDCR should include yoga in all 33 of its facilities. Today, I have told you about the issues with California prisons, the benefits of prison yoga, and how CDCR can implement yoga programs. I've heard several testimonials from prisoners who are currently behind bars and who are practicing yoga, and the testimonies are far moving. I can tell you that these practices are wanted, and as I have seen, they are being petitioned because inmates want them in jails. So this is why I believe CDCR should have these programs available.